You don't need all of this stuff to make art, but I love it. This thing is so wobbly. When I worked at an art store for many years, we had store samples that would just be in front of the display that people could try. And I don't know why we had this giant block of charcoal, but this thing's probably over 10 years old. And when the store closed, I snagged it, and I don't think I've ever used it, or maybe I used it once, but I have it. And it's like the hardest charcoal ever. It's not even like one of the fun, soft ones. It's so hard. But I have it. There's this artist on Instagram who does this really stylized kind of subtractive drawing where they, smear charcoal or graphite on the paper, and then they erase the highlights and the shape, all of it. It's like, it's typically like portrait. It's the face like pops out. This is something they use. This is why I grabbed it. It's just like basically makeup, but it's pastel dust. It's like compressed pastel dust. And you apply it with this little applicator thing, which is basically like a makeup sponge. Don't buy this stuff from the art supply store. It's a waste of money. In going through all this junk, I found this really old package kneaded eraser, and it's so old it doesn't stick together, but you can rip it up. And it erases great, but use your stuff or it just is going to wear out. This thing has paper towel stuck to it. Liquid charcoal from Nitram. It is leaking gum Arabic, and its selling point is that you can just paint with charcoal. You can see I've crimped the bottom because I used it a little bit I think I swatched with it when I first got it or something like that, but I've never really used it on a piece, and I kind of want to use it. Maybe today. But yeah, there's something to be said. You don't need all of this stuff. You really don't. I have ancient water soluble graphite putty. Like, what am I going to do with that? But in the spirit of me trying to be a better artist and going back to the basics and learning what I don't know, I thought that I would take today to do the old value study and work on a sphere and maybe tell some stories. I don't know. We'll see. I got too much stuff. Oh, working at the art store. Where do I even begin? I could begin what brought me there. I worked at a bakery, family owned bakery, for a number of years. I think like 5.5 years. And you work around in close proximity with a tight knit group of people for long enough. You become really, and it's not corporate speak, you do become a family. In that sort of setting, you do become a family. Dysfunctional, of course. There is a lot of opportunities for problems to arise when it's just the same people all the time. You get the job done, it's fine, but personalities clash all the way up until, the boss is throwing stuff at you, but that's a story for a different time. But what brought me to the art store, though, towards the end of my tenure at the bakery, was this girl who worked there. It's always about a girl. And one time while I was in, she told me they were hiring and that I should totally apply. So I did, and I got the job. So you can imagine my heart is just beating out of my chest. I think the stars are finally aligning. And I get to go to work, and everyone is great. It's this new environment. I love art. I love art supplies. And I'm working shoulder to shoulder with this girl, and I'm just thinking it's all coming together. And one night I'm in the warehouse carrying something for her, and she tells me, "Your arms look incredible." And I can't even tell you how great that made me feel. And then immediately after, I find out that she's in the middle of her 2-week notice and she's going to be leaving the company. I also find out that she's engaged to her girlfriend. Now, I, of course, have a huge mouth, so I ended up telling this little anecdote all over the store, and people ended up telling her, and everyone had a big old laugh at my expense. I laugh at it. I think it's hilarious. But what's funny is she is the reason why I started working there. And I worked there for many, many years up until they ultimately closed their doors because they were absorbed into a new company. And I worked at that company for, a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. But those years weren't nearly as fun as the beginning years at the other place. From the customers to the employees, the people I had to hire and the people I had to fire, it was a pirate ship a lot of the time. But oh, the characters, the personalities, the plot points that would rival any TV show. But the job was fun. It was a lot of fun. Man, there's this one insufferable artist that used to come in all the time that I would just, oh, they're terrible. They're honestly one of the most miserable people I have ever met in my life. And at one point, over years I dealt with this person. And in managing people, you learn that in managing, just as you have to manage your associates, you have to manage giant personalities that come in and shop with you. And one of those giant personalities just happened to be the biggest pain in everyone's butt. Everyone disliked this person. Everyone talked about this person behind their back. They're just miserable. They're absolutely miserable to be around. They always had a way with being buddy with everyone and coming in and just pretending to be everyone's best friend. Nobody ever liked to talk to them. You'd almost have to draw straws to have to deal with them. But obviously they thought that everyone loved them. Once our company had sold and I was at the new place and I had stepped down from management and was just kind of enjoying the ride, came in and basically cornered me. And I hadn't realized that. I hadn't talked to them for a long time because we went through a whole kind of merging process and liquidation and all of that. And I hadn't talked to them for a long time, thankfully. I didn't outwardly dislike them at this point. I thought that they were very, very annoying. But did I dislike them? I don't think so. But they really knew how to sap your energy. Well, this person came in, cornered me at the new store, and basically called me some names and referenced something I had said the last time we'd spoke, which I did not even remember at the time, that they took as me not liking their art. And keep in mind, this is a professional person that if you Google, all their information comes up, all their artwork comes up. They're at galleries. They've done some okay, impressive things, whatever. They basically had this whole breakdown on the floor of this store where they could not handle the idea that someone didn't like their art. Again, another anecdotal arrow in my quiver. From that moment on, just it was unbearable to be in their same airspace. Everyone thinks that they're miserable. I can't stand. They're just I don't say this a lot. They are a horrible person, truly horrible person to be around. In reference to their art or anything I might have said, I had to dig back in my mind and really think, why were they so upset? And it was, I had suggested when they came to me at the old store and they were talking about doubts they had about their career or something like that. And they were confiding in me. I merely suggested a possible change in style. I don't even think I went that far. I think I just suggested possibly going to daily drawing, getting a sketchbook and kind of maybe working out new ideas rather than recycling the same old prints over and over and over again. I didn't say it as callously as that, but it was basically buy a sketchbook. Because I asked them if they drew, and they said they hadn't drawn since college. And that was like 20 years ago. That's a big red flag. When an artist doesn't draw, I think that's a big red flag. But who am I? I'm not a professional artist that you Google me, you'll find me in galleries. But they took that to heart. They disappeared for years. They wouldn't come in. They hated me, all that stuff. Good riddance. I can't tell you how excited and happy I am that I never have to interact with them ever again because they're so awful to be around. But again, you have to look at everything with humor, which is what I do. That interaction of them, this person who was like 20 years my senior came in and just started accosting me in the back of this store, grabbing at my arm saying, am I not good enough for you? Like, is my art not good enough? If I ever had a mental breakdown to the point to where I did that to someone. I don't know if I could ever I don't know if I could ever show my face in public. But like I've stated, I could go on and on and on about the art store. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just start ranting about the people, little stories. I don't know. I hope you found this remotely entertaining, but if there's any more time left, I'll just let you watch. It's a new day. Final thoughts. I actually really enjoyed just sitting down here, kind of getting messy, getting my hands all dirty with it. Even though I don't like having dirty hands when it comes to art, I try to be really, really clean. But especially working with the charcoal and seeing how dark you can get. And I didn't press it as hard as I could. I really want to use that liquid charcoal. This was just a lot of fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun with the graphite as well. I know I brushed out the highlight, but I I just doing spheres. I was getting all of these ideas on kind of where I could take drawings that I've done that don't have any value to them in terms of, light or dark. And so I feel like this is, taking the time away was important, and now coming back to it, I think this is something I am going to spend some time with, especially the goofy stuff like the liquid charcoal. I think that might be kind of fun. I don't know. I hope this was entertaining for someone, but I had a good time. And if you're still watching, thanks. If you're new here, welcome. Like and subscribe, please. It helps a little guy like me out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.